Hey everyone, Troy Harris here, and we are here at the final module number 15 in this Crypto New Rich series. These final five modules have been more along the lines of mindset. I wanted to touch on just how incredibly important mindset is. I've spoken about this a lot during the series, so it's going to come as no surprise if you've watched the previous 14 before you've watched this one. And this one, I just wanted to kind of recap all the things I went over, especially in this mindset previous four modules, and put it in I guess, in a nice, tidy little video here, just to kind of recap on everything, because ultimately what we're wanting to create and design and get here is your dream life by design, and share that it's absolutely possible to be able to achieve this. Okay. So let's get kicked into it. Let's get started. What we've got right now staring at us is the greatest wealth creation opportunity of our lifetime with Bitcoin, crypto, and building generational wealth. This is the biggest opportunity that we have right now, and we have such a competitive advantage over 99% of people. This is a far bigger opportunity to get rich right now than in any business that you could look at, in my opinion, anywhere in the world. There's a reason why Bitcoin's gone from a fraction of a cent in 2009 to now being worth, 60, 70 odd thousand US dollars as I'm speaking and talking about this in 2024. And why the potential of it going so much higher in 2025 and beyond is there, right? This is a far bigger opportunity than any business, right? Any business to get rich right now. And ideally, what we can have is that we can be utilizing, right? Utilizing the Bitcoin 4 year cycles, and utilizing the understanding that we now have to be able to capitalize on it. All right. For some of you, this will be the most important, the most important modules that you have come across, right? And other people may be watching this, and you've discovered Bitcoin and crypto before viewing and going over my modules here. I, by all means, don't say that, I'm the absolute peak and best at sharing and showing all this incredible information, but just the fact that you've come across this and being able to watch over it and review it and do your own research, and also understand just how truly incredible this opportunity is, right? That just how truly incredible it is. And if you are brand new to this space, what I will say is congratulations, because if you are going to be an action taker, and you are going to be someone that takes action from this, and actually goes out there and potentially purchase some Bitcoin or crypto or whatever you end up doing or choosing, then in my opinion, it's going to be the best decision that you'll make in your financial life. I know that it absolutely has been mine, and I'm certainly not the only, I guess you could say, smart money person in the world that reflects the exact same thing. And the prize here, if you get this right, is freedom and security. Now, this is a massive gift, right? This is the most incredible gift and most incredible advantage that you can have in your life, right? To know this and to have this, there's nothing better, right? There's nothing better than having freedom and security for yourself, for your family, your loved ones, whatever that may be, wherever you are in the world. There's no better feeling, and that is the prize. That is the prize that you get. And I mean, any other extra dollars or bonuses on top of that are literally just that. They're purely just bonuses. So we can't be doing the same thing as everyone else and expecting a different result, right? I touched on this on the previous modules, and I was saying, the true meaning of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, yet expecting different results. And we can't be doing that, right? we can't be doing that and expecting that we're going to get anything different than what our parents got or than what our grandparents got, and so on and so forth. This absolutely is not a message to say go and be irresponsible, and go and mortgage everything to be able to purchase Bitcoin or crypto or anything like that. I absolutely am not saying that. What I'm saying here is be an action taker and actually go out there and research and get a better understanding. Like if you have the program and you get the book, read the book back to front. And I truly hope that after you've read the book, you truly start to understand and realize the real power of what you have at your hands, at your fingertips here to truly create generational wealth for yourself and your loved ones. Because ultimately, everyone wants three things, right? To be healthy, wealthy, and happy. Okay. Obviously, there are other things that can get mixed up into that, but ultimately, those three things are pretty high on everyone's agendas. Okay. Wealth, happiness, and being fit and healthy, right? And all these things can be taught, right? So the healthy part, I'm absolutely not the absolute best person or in a position to teach, but I can absolutely tell you that it is something that I am absolutely been working on with extreme measures over the past 6 to 12 months. But in regards to the wealthy part and what you can learn and what you can hopefully extract out of these modules and out of the book, I truly hope that can that can absolutely help, and ultimately this can lead to happiness, right? We spend our time and our health to become wealthy, to ultimately then get our time and our health back, right? That's something that I truly I truly believe, and I know that this is something that I'm very close to achieving now from a health perspective. Absolutely. So let me just say that again for you. We spend our time and our health to become wealthy, to ultimately then be able to get our time and our health back. So anyone who may be starting in this journey or maybe have already started, and you're going through the early stages, or maybe you're in the mid stages and you feel like there's absolutely no end, and you think, well, when's the next crypto cycle topic going to come? And if it is Bitcoin and crypto that you're investing in, then absolutely know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. If you're doing these steps and you're following these things, then you're going to be able to get to that point where you can then ultimately get your time and your health back. Because if you want freedom and your dream life, don't leave it to chance. Okay. Sure, some people, may be starting further back in the race than others. I'm not going to deny that. There may be people that may be starting young, and therefore they're saying, I don't have as much money to start investing. And then I get people on the other end of the scale who are older and saying, well, I don't have enough time left to be investing, right? And what we need to know is, well, what we need to do is the big thing is stop using these as excuses, because what you have right now in this incredible decade that we're living in, as I record this in 2024, information is at the tip of our fingers these days, right? The ability for us to share and have get access to information is like literally at the tip of our fingers, right? We have this incredible technology called the internet, that gives us opportunity, like our parents and our grandparents could only imagine that they had in the day. Don't waste that opportunity. Don't waste that opportunity on the what ifs or the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, as I've heard so many people say in the past. So you need to engineer your dream life by design formulaically. These things that I'm sharing and that I'm showing, it's going to be different for everyone. All right. Some of you will look at these things and see, oh, you know what? These are some things that I'm doing. These are some things that I'm observing, and I am on the right track, or I'm very close to the right track. And others will look at this and see the things that they need to change or need to adjust or maybe need to try. And once again, especially in these previous four modules and this one that I'm covering, in particular, obviously these five have been around mindset. I'm by no means, once again, saying that I'm some kind of expert in this space, but I'm absolutely sharing information that's 1000% helped in my journey, and shared the absolute key part here, that this whole thing is 80% mindset, and that it's so crucial and so vital that you have these things correct. And the big thing here, once again, I'm going to share this and recap this here, is having clear vision, having clear goals, right? You'll want to achieve these while being calm, while being quiet, without struggle, at peace, right? Being aware to create these, right? And that's ultimately when you want to be doing these. You don't want to be doing and writing these things down when you're stressed out, or you've just had a really hard day at work, or whatever it is that you may have, right? There's no point if you're doing that and your emotions are a wreck. We need to be as cool as we possibly can, even in a crisis, right? We need that emotional IQ, right? Often, I have my team and things say, how do you do that? How are you doing that? How are you so chill at the moment with all this stuff that's going on all around you? And what I've done is I've learned to control my emotions, right? I've learned to control my emotions because I want to keep my visions, I want to keep my goals as clear as they possibly can. And the big thing here as well is you ultimately need a reason why. Just wanting to have money to do stuff is not a good enough reason. There needs to be a reason. Now, obviously, put a picture of a happy family here on the page. It doesn't have to be family. Obviously, family is a massive thing to the absolute majority of people, including myself. And that's the reason why I do it. But there could be many different things. Maybe it's you want to make a difference within your community, or maybe it's you want to be a travel blogger, and you want to travel the world and live the laptop lifestyle. Maybe you love sports cars and you want to write reviews of them. Whatever it is, there can be multitude, right? Multitude of different reasons, but you need to be very clear on what that is, and define, because there needs to be a reason why, right? There needs to be a reason why the generation of the generation of the money is going to occur. Without that, there's no point, right? If there's no reason why you're doing this, and it's purely just to make as much money as humanly possible, there's got to be a strong foundation set there. And that's why, obviously, if it's your family, your loved ones, the people you care most about, then obviously that's going to set an extremely strong foundation for you. Another big one is designing and living your perfect day. Loving life is a big one, and sometimes something that you really need to train yourself to do, right? Rather than working for a life, right? Too many people have miserable lives, of desperation, and they feel like they need to do that grind. And we shared that before, where you need to do that grind, and being on a train. I know that was what my life was, right? Surrounded by hundreds of other people that are as miserable as I was, right? There are levels to this game, right? It takes time to get there as well. That's another big one that I'll say. If you're at the beginning of your journey because you're young, if you're at the beginning of your journey because you've had a massive setback, maybe you might be a bit older, but you've had huge setbacks, that's okay. You need to give yourself permission to start again. You need to give yourself permission to be a beginner, because, like I've mentioned before, and I'll say it again, the market doesn't care where you're at in your personal life. Okay. It'll chew you up and spit you out in a second, right? Just know that it takes time to get to where you want to be, those goals, those visions that you have. It takes time, right? Your job, time for money, value for money. You need to be setting your own time. I still work too hard, and I know that, right? But I'm doing things, on a more massive scale and things like that, and that's fine. But I'm still absolutely enjoy and love what I do. So this is the big thing, and as I said before, there's there's a multitude of people that can and really share and really help in this space, in particular with designing and living that perfect day. But as I said, I don't mean to be any kind of expert on this, but absolutely this is a key part, and ultimately the ultimate goal of where you want to be getting to living your dream life by design. Another big thing that has really helped me personally, and something that I learned off an amazing mentor, was engineering more fun experiences. Right. So when you look back on a year, and what do you remember about it? What was great about it? It's the things you did, whether it be with your loved ones, your friends, your family, whatever that may be. Right. A major part of our motivation for really running this whole thing and getting these videos out and kind of sharing this information was because I want other people to realize what truly has worked for me, but also for thousands and thousands of other people. If you can literally, sometimes you need to engineer those fun experiences, right? Who enjoyed yesterday, for example? Let's use that as an example. Was there a reason why you enjoyed yesterday? Was it something that you did? Did you could do something as simple as, it doesn't need to cost a lot of money. You don't have to go to some expensive theme park. A trip to a national park with your family to go out and see nature and touch the grass and the sand, that's free, right? Obviously, life is easier and everything's easier with money, but at times we've all been broke, and I know I've absolutely been there. I've been at the absolute bottom of that. And it doesn't really seem easy at the time when you're broke, or you're beginning, or you're starting out, or you've had a major setback. It doesn't really seem easy to engineer fun experiences. But the beauty about life is that it has seasons to it, right? It has sometimes when you're going through a winter season and it's cold and it's miserable and nothing's going right. And then, you know, after that, often the sun will shine through, and then spring will come out and things start, getting a bit warmer, and things will go through ebbs and flows. That's life, right? But have a think about it. What is it that you could do today, tomorrow, this week, next month with your family, your friends, the people you love, or whatever it may be? What is it, something that's going to engineer a fun experience for you, whatever that may be, right? And that's something amazing, something that I like to try and do, especially as my kids get older. Bringing my kids on business trips that I may do, right? Engineering more fun experiences in the year, and sometimes you need to physically engineer those experiences. Don't just expect them to happen or expect them to come, right? Organize it, do it. Don't think about or maybe no, or maybe I'll organize that tomorrow. I'll organize that next week, because quite often, and what can happen, and you'll see and hear this all the time, you don't get that next time. You don't get that next week, right? So start engineering those fun experiences now. I touched on this one, obviously, in earlier module as well, but working harder on yourself. And obviously, the credit is absolutely to Jim Rohn here on what he says here, is that income seldom exceeds personal development. The reason why I put this in this review session is because it is so true. And I don't know yourself how many potential personal development sessions you may have done, things that you've done where you've worked on yourself and financially educated yourself, or just personal development on your own mindset and things like that. I'm not sure, but these are all things where, I know for myself, and I've learned and gone through so many different personal development sessions, and it literally has changed my life forever. Working harder on yourself than what you do on your business or your job. So if you're out there and you're working like an absolute Trojan, which is fantastic on your business or your job or whatever it may be, you need to be working even harder on yourself. Okay, you need to be working and building those personal development skills even harder than yourself, because as the great Jim Rohn says, income that you get in seldom exceeds the personal development that you have done. Okay, so once again, if you work hard on your business or your job, right, then that's, you need to be working harder. All right, you need to be working harder on yourself. And I use this saying earlier in the earlier modules as well, but we bring ourselves to the deal, right? And what we want to be doing is, and I said this and I mentioned this before. Now, I love music. I love listening to music, and I love getting in my car and blaring some music. But you know, I've made a conscious effort to listen to more podcasts. When I go home, instead of scrolling the phone, I pick up a book. All those little things make a massive difference, and can also and will also massively help your future self, because your personal development is absolute key, and your income absolutely will match that. Focus on and develop your emotional intelligence, and we spoke about this in earlier modules, and this is such a massive thing, right? We don't want to just talk about emotional intelligence theory. We want to think about what can we put in practice to make ourselves exceptional at this, right? If you win this game of emotional intelligence, you win the game of life. Okay. Emotional intelligence is such a key part of this and a key factor of this. So that's why I wanted to put it in this review session as well. And continually building your millionaire mindset, right? Continually building it. Your best investment is in yourself. All right. I know I've said this 1,000 times. I'm saying it again, but your best investment is in yourself. All right. It's going to be worth your while. And the more you invest in yourself, the more time you put back in yourself, the more time you will keep, the more over time you'll keep building that millionaire mindset, which ultimately will lead you to this, of building both cash flow and net worth, right? I know we just touched on this on a previous module only recently, but building both your cash flow and your net worth is so incredibly important to the overall growth, especially when it comes to your overall growth from a wealth perspective. And using the business, using the job, or whatever it is that you have to fund your investing and your lifestyle. All right. Most people, as I shared before, they're building the business to become wealthy. And as I got older and learned a lot more about investing, I realized that leveraging into investing is a much faster way of getting wealthy and building wealth and holding wealth. And this is how the rich have done it for generations. Okay. And this is how you can do it as well. Cutting costs. I know I guess you could say, honed in on this topic on the previous module, but you know, reducing those expenses for more profit to allocate to investing, right? If you have not read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, go and read it right now. If you've read it already, go and read it again. You need to know the difference between assets and liabilities, all right? Reduce those expenses. You don't need that expensive car right now. If you need to get a car loan for your car, right? Do everything you can to not get a loan on a depreciating object like your car. I'm not even going to call it a depreciating asset, because it's not an asset. A car is a liability, right? Build it up so you deserve that car down the track, and you can pay for it outright as opposed to having to pay it off, right? You don't want to be paying off liabilities. All right. Often reducing your expenses and cutting those costs, it's going to make a massive difference to be able to allocate towards your investing. Starting investing early, starting investing often, even if by early, I don't mean at an early age only. even if you're starting your investing journey in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, it doesn't matter. I know a lot of people that have started within our community, and they're literally started investing in their 70s, and that's completely fine, right? Unless you get started, you'll never get anywhere, right? So the earlier you start, the more time you will have for your gains to compound, right? And Bitcoin and crypto is the perfect example and the perfect way to be able to build that up, right? So obviously, ideally, dollar cost averaging, feeding the beast, as I call it in the book, right? Investing a small amount every time you get paid, in investing and putting that money in before you're going out and doing the other expenses, whatever that is in your life, right? That's how the rich do it, right? So if you start investing now, can make a massive difference on how free your life is in the next 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 years time, whatever that may be. Building those cash reserves, right, for buying the big dip opportunities. We talked about this. I spoke about the example around COVID, right, where Bitcoin dropped considerably, and able to have an opportunity to purchase at incredibly good prices, and those opportunities come around a lot more than what you think, especially in the Bitcoin and the crypto market. We get opportunities because of the volatility of the market to be able to get incredibly good buying the dip opportunities, as we call it, right? So this is something that is incredibly important, to have those cash reserves on the side. You've got some of the best investors in history that repeatedly do this. Warren Buffett is a prime example of someone who's consistently buys blue chip stocks, shall we call them, when they're bleeding, when there's blood on the streets, when they've had unnecessary drops in the price. But ultimately, those drops, they're always just temporary, especially for blue chip stocks, shall we say. And Bitcoin is a perfect example for that. The dips and the drops that it has, they're just temporary, and they end up bouncing back around, and then over time, as long as you're zooming out and you're looking at the monthly charts, you're looking at the yearly charts, it always pays off in the end. Watching and managing your own 401k, superannuation, retirement investments, whatever you want to call it, right? That is a huge part of this as well. So many people just think, well, I'll let my future self worry about that. When I get to retirement age, I'll be concerned and worry about it then. I don't need to worry about it now. When the facts are that your government, your pension fund that you think that you can rely on when you retire, chances are it absolutely is not going to be there for you when you get to retirement age. I know that myself here in Australia, so many people think, oh, well, when I'm on the pension, when I'm older, and quite often I say, how do you know for sure that the pension is going to be there for you in 10, 20, 30 years time, whenever it is that you retire? And why on earth would you want to live on that when that's the time that you're supposedly at the end of your working life, and you're living off a basic wage, right? So it's so vitally important that you're in control. No one else is in control here. You need to take 100% responsibility of your actions, and the way to do that is you need to be the one that's watching and managing those retirement funds. Always be learning. Always be learning. Okay. Make sure to always think, whether it's a conversation you're having, or maybe you're listening in somewhere, or maybe it's somewhere you're helping out or sharing information, or whatever it may be, right? Think as you're processing that information, is this information hurting me, or is it helping me, right? I always say to people, even if there's a conversation and you're having it with someone, and maybe it's with someone that you don't think too fondly of, shall we say, always take 1% out of everything. Always look at the 1%ers. Okay. There can always be something that you can learn from every single experience that you have during your day. and always have that learning brain switched on, being the learning zone, right? You're not going to be in the learning zone if you're always in the comfort zone. If you're in the comfort zone, you're chilled out, you're relaxed, your brain is absolutely not switched on to learning mode, and you're not going to always be learning. You're going to be stuck in that comfort zone, and you're going to be stuck in that Groundhog Day, that grind, that rat race that we spoke about, and that it will never change. Being proactive about your health. Now, once again, I'm not the absolute best person to be speaking about this, but this is something that I've been very proud of over the last 6 to 12 months now that I've been working on. And without your health, you literally have nothing. And this is something that I know, I guess, speaking personally, I've really realized. Turned 41 recently, and I've really realized since I turned 40 that things aren't getting easier. It's not getting easier to lose that extra few kilos. It's not getting easier to keep running around with the kids and keeping up with them and doing all the things that you just take for granted when you're younger. And whether you're listening to this and you're in your teens, your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, or even up to your 70s, 80s, whatever it is, health is without a doubt and has to be the number one priority. And remember, ESC, right? ESC, the three essential components for reaching our goals: education and knowledge, strategy, and execution. All right. That's what I like to call ESE: education and knowledge mixed with the right strategy, mixed with execution, because you can go and learn things over and over again. You can watch these modules of mine if you want 1,000 times. You can go and watch as many different modules on the internet that you want 1,000 times. You can go to 1,000 different workshops, 1,000 different webinars, 1,000 different seminars. Nothing's going to change if you don't get a strategy together and then finally actually execute it, right? Be an action taker and actually go and do it. That's the big thing. That's going to be the key difference, right? For you if you reach your goals or if you don't, right? So often a lot of us have one or maybe two of these, but the third one is always lacking, right? And I'm not going to say there's a particular one that I've seen lacking in people, but you absolutely need to have these three components. These are essential components. It's education, knowledge, strategy, and execution. You have to have these three essential components. They are absolutely crucial for reaching your goals. And remember the crypto pentagon, right? The essential 5 steps on the road to the crypto new rich. Number 1, cycle. Number 2, narrative. Number 3, portfolio. Number 4, timing. And finally, number 5, multiple, right? Multiple over multiple cycles, multiple gains over multiple cycles. And this is obviously something that we went over in detail in the first 10 modules of this program, but these are the essential 5 steps to, I guess you could say, go with the essential previous 3 steps in regards to reaching your goals. These are the essential 5 steps on the road to the crypto new rich to hopefully reach your wealth goals. Because what there is at the end of that is an opportunity to live like you are semi-retired. Often I get people say to me all the time, "Oh, Troy, I just want to retire now. I just want to chill out. I just want to do this." Okay, that's great. But you really can live like you are semi-retired, right? If you want, right? Work, but enjoy life, right? You don't have to do all the hours of work to be able to enjoy it. And this building wealth, creating wealth, and building these opportunities, and hopefully following these steps that you've potentially taken out of this program, or you may have taken out of the book if you've read it, or whatever it may be, are absolute opportunities for you to live like you are semi-retired and do the things that you want to do. Do the things you want to do. Spend the time with the people that you want to spend with, and live the life that you want to live. And this is a really great quote that I like. It's a great brand. In fact, right, live a great story. Right, it's an excellent message that I personally really resonate with, and I hope you do too. Right, live is all about spreading inspiration, right? Are you living a great story? Are you working hard? No matter what, you can't give up. Just don't give up. Keep going. All right. Keep going. No matter how many setbacks, how many failures you have, talk to other people about their setbacks, about their failures. Start surrounding yourself with honest people, not people that just completely lie to you all the time and say, oh, I've never had those issues. My life is perfect. All this kind of nonsense we read on social media. It's all absolute nonsense, right? What matters most is how you live your story, and how are you living that right now, right? How you do anything is how you do everything. Life, it's like a movie, right? What are the amazing scenes that you're about to build into your movie? Okay. That is the way that we want to be doing. And I don't mean to be wrapping this up towards the end of the modules with a picture of a guy here, who maybe has had one too many Doritos. No, absolutely no offense meant to be from that. But are you going to be part of the 3%? Or you're going to be part of the 97%, right? Now, this is a stat, as I mentioned earlier, I got from Perry Belcher. 100% of people want it, but many, they just simply won't do anything, right? You're going to be part of the 3% that will actually do everything they can to get what they want, right? Or you're going to be part of the 97% that will do nothing and will just settle and will just lay there and we'll just accept, oh well, I'll just watch Netflix again and then the same thing for the 48th time because I'm just not motivated and nothing ever goes my way and I'm going to blame everyone else and everything else except myself. You are the one who ultimately will decide that. So finally, as we're coming towards the end of this final module, I want to leave you with just a couple of things. Work smart, play hard, and enjoy the journey. Right, the prize if you win this game is generational wealth. So I want you to remember that and think that, right, and work smart, play hard, and enjoy the journey. It's such a great motto to go off, I feel, and I feel like an ideal, shall we say, ending for this series of these modules. Finally, I want to say thank you, right? I want to say thank you, and I really do hope that you've been able to take some big takeaways from this. I'm sure that everyone, no matter who you are, you will have got something different out of it. I know I mentioned very early in the modules that if you are someone that's potentially intermediate or advanced within investing or within crypto or whatever, there's probably a lot of in the first 10 modules that you may have already known or whatever that may be. But I really hope that you've been able to get something out of it. And like I've said before, I don't claim to be a mindset expert at all. I just wanted to share some modules and some key learnings that I've made especially over the last 8 years that have truly helped me be able to live my dream life by design. And finally, I want to say something that I have mentioned before, but I want to really emphasize on this. If you are a beginner, please give yourself permission to be a beginner. All right. You can't just turn these modules off and start thinking that you can do all this and be an expert overnight. It's just not possible. It's not feasible, and you're not being fair to yourself. So please, if you are a beginner in this space, within crypto, within investing, whatever it may be, please give yourself the opportunity to be a beginner. All right. And give yourself permission to be a beginner. All right. As always, myself and my team are here for you. If you have any questions or anything at all about any of these modules, please feel free to reach out. All the details will be listed in the modules of the button that you can click to reach out to our team for help on any of these modules. Other than that, I really thank you all for going through this program, listening to all the modules, and I really thank you all for your amazing and kind feedback, and I appreciate all feedback. So please let me know any big takeaways that you took out of it, and I'd love to know your story, your journey. Please keep me updated on it. We have an incredible community here, so thank you so much again, and I'll see you in the community. It's bye for now.